We are back. What Chance the Rapper said, and we back. Hey, and we back, and we back. Quarter three is back for an episode at the perfect time. NBA playoffs, WNBA free agency just ended. Training camps have started. All of that, award predictions, and more on this episode. Fellas, how are y'all doing?
Good. It's good to be back. It's been a long time. And the absence was my fault because I thought I was still an athlete. So I messed around and got hurt. So we had to take some time off until I could get back right, get my setup right to accommodate my new and temporary circumstances.
I mean, athletes get hurt all the time, so you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
I won't be an athlete no more though. But I hear what you're saying.
Oh, you calling for your retirement?
Oh, when I tell you I threw away the shoes that I was wearing when I got hurt, I couldn't look at them.
What
I wanted to
shoes
throw them away the night we were in the emergency room, but fortunately, the gym that I was playing at is nearby my parents' house, so they were able to come up and drive me around and stay with me. But I was trying to throw them away that night, and my mom was like, "No, no, keep them. You might change your mind later." Like 2 days ago, I was looking at them on the floor. I asked Jess to take them out to the trash. I can't do it.
What sneakers are these? We need to know.
I think they were Anthony Edwards ones, lows.
Hmm.
So
I heard mixed reviews about those shoes.
I mean, they're a little heavy for to be low cut. I'm not saying that had anything to do with me getting hurt, but I'm definitely going to go a little lighter if I do get a new pair of basketball shoes for sure.
So I want to ask you this, right? Because with the injury, typically when somebody I've known has gotten an ankle injury, Achilles, they immediately say, "I'm never wearing low cuts again." Will you ever wear low cut kicks again?
Yeah, that's all I wear at this point. I don't think it's the cut. I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with the shoe. Regardless, it's just sometimes these things happen, which is what the doctor told me. But I've been wearing low cut shoes probably the last 10 years, and I don't even think I've rolled my ankle maybe but like one or two times in that time span. I think it's more of just how you play and adjusting to a different type of style that's a little less aggressive, a little more conservative, and then be aggressive and a little more liberal in spots. You got to pick your spots as you get older. So yeah, I would definitely wear low cut shoes if I got another pair.
All right, man. So I want to start off with this before we even get into the episode. Catch the people up. We have a lot that has been going on. Jarrett's been in the war room with the Mystics and asking questions and going through the draft process. And people are mistaking Jarrett for working on ESPN. Jarrett, how is it feeling, my guy, that you're kind of like really getting established in the DC area? You're known. You got your Mystics. You told us Twitter. A lot of people followed. Like, hey, he's gonna be covering the Mystics. How are you feeling with basically, you getting your feet really solid in DC in regards in the sports media space?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really good, honestly. Really excited for the WNBA season getting underway, and I feel like this season is going to be really good. As far as with all the expansions and everything that's going on, all the player movement, of course, getting the CBA underway, everybody getting paid. And me personally, like, it's been really good for me because a lot of people are starting to like tap into my content with WNBA again. So it's really exciting. Like I'm really enjoying everything that's going on. But as far as the war room goes, I was at the Monumental was having some media people come out to basically ask Sydney Johnson, who's the coach, and basically kind of like the acting GM for the Mystics right now, the questions after the draft. So that was pretty cool. As we all know by now, they all went basically guard heavy not guard heavy, big heavy with their draft picks, picked a few guards, but we have a lot of size. So it will be very interesting to see what the Mystics do because they are a very, very young team now.
And Rush, I mean, the hottest couple in the city is Rush and Jess currently hosting watch parties. How
Yeah.
did that even come about for you to do that? And how was it? Let the people know how it was to host your first watch party in your city.
Well, first and foremost, it was a lot of fun. Once we got to the event, it got rolling. People started showing up. Conversations started happening. Everything leading up to it, I was a bit of a nervous wreck because while my wife is an expert in event planning and event execution, and she's Miss Social Butterfly, I haven't really done anything like that before. So we have been talking about doing events together for years, actually. We went to a few brunches like years ago that were thrown by uh, various couples in the city, and they were cool. And we were like, we could probably do something like this. She had a network at the time. I didn't know anybody. I was a nobody. I'm technically, comparatively speaking, if we're talking about Charlotte, I'm still a nobody compared to my wife. But we were like, yeah, we could. We have good chemistry when we're out in public. We're obviously best friends, so a lot of that shines through. So we felt like, at some point in time, we could probably, try our hand at throwing one or two events. So, I hurt my foot and I was wanting some company, wanting to be social because I couldn't just get up and go. And it just so happened that one of the sports bars in Charlotte, it's called Blinders. Shout out to Blinders. They they're about a year old now, but they're big for like all the other sports: football, soccer, golf, college basketball, obviously around tournament time. But when we reached out, they said, we're actually trying to build our traffic for NBA based events, NBA based or NBA games. So they said that the timing was just perfect. So we got together a little last minute, and a lot of it was sort of hedging on whether the Hornets won their first playing game or not. And luckily they won. So we were able to say, okay, Friday we're doing it. We promoted for like 3 days, maybe. So it wasn't a lot of runway to advertise. But people showed up. We had about 30, I think between 30 and 40 people show up. We didn't have to put any money down on the space, which was amazing. The venue was just really nice. It's like a mini Cosm for those of you who have either been to a Cosm or familiar with the tone. I know you and I got to experience it out in LA. So it was just great. It was a great day weather-wise. The Hornets haven't really been this close to the playoffs in years, so the energy out there was just great. So it was a lot of fun. At the end of the day, I was really tired. I was crutching around a lot. I was trying to do some content. I didn't realize how hard it is to get content in general at an event, let alone while you're on crutches. But it was great, and I think it's something we're going to do more of. I'd love for it to just be, a club that watches basketball games, whether it be NBA, unrivaled, WNBA, college. This is something that we want to be continuous and ongoing, and I think it will be. So hopefully, it's the start of a new, budding partnership.
Shout out to you and Jess for doing that, man. And like you said, it worked out. They won the first one. Second one, it didn't go as well. And the
Yeah,
Magic woke up, and Paulo and the rest of the crew played extremely, extremely well. And they're off to a good start in the playoffs as well. What has been so far? Very, very early. Very early. Most series are only into 2 games. Some getting maybe to that third game. What's been, Jarrett, your favorite part of the playoffs so far?
For me, it was the game one win for the Knicks. I was maybe a little wishful thinking, but I was like, oh, this might be a sweep the way they won this game. But hey, listen, shout out to Atlanta and CJ McCollum, always been a bucket. So he cooked Jalen Brunson last night on a lot of possessions. And, I think that definitely is my favorite series so far because it's been super fun to watch, especially seeing I guess the back and forth between the teams. Like the bad blood is still there, even though Trae Young is not there no more. But the bad blood is still there, so I'm really enjoying it.
Rush, what about you, man? What series has you on a chokehold so far?
I mean, besides my Lakers, Oh, I'm sorry, our Lakers. I would say probably actually Atlanta and New York, because I think we talked before the playoffs started. Which matchups did we think had the highest likelihood of an upset? And I know Jarrett leaned in to the camera as I was giving my explanation because he thought in no way, shape, or form could the Knicks be susceptible to such a thing. But Denver and Minnesota are tied 1-1. Atlanta and New York are tied 1-1. I'm really interested to see how the Hawks come out going back home. Technically they've taken home court advantage. So that one has my attention outside of the Lakers and Houston. And it was a crazy finish last night. I wasn't able to watch it as much as I wanted to, but I mean we saw what CJ did, and we saw what he did specifically when he was guarded by Jalen Brunson. So that one has my eyes going forward, but for the most part, all of the opening game ones were pretty competitive, obviously, with the exception of a couple. So I'm enjoying all of it, to be honest with you.
That Denver Nuggets series, right? It's 1-1. Anthony Edwards has a good game. Julius Randle has a good game. Most may not want to, agree and own up to it, but Rudy Gobert had a couple of good games thus far. Do y'all think it's only 1-1, super early, but do y'all think that the Timberwolves can actually win the series, Jarrett?
Yeah, I mean, Rudy did have a good game one, not so much game two, but if based on what they did on game two and they get Ant off the ball more and have him not playing the point guard position, I think Randall had 6 assists, DiVincenzo had 6 assists. So if they're able to, reciprocate that into being able to have Ant do what he does best and score and not have to worry about kind of trying to get the whole team involved, I think Denver could fall in 6 or 7. JD McDaniels was made the comments about none of them are good defenders on that team. Do kind of find that crazy because Denver has been solid defensively for the last few years, especially Jokic. He's made a lot of strides defensively, and Aaron Gordon is known basically for his defense at this point. Kind of a do-it-all type of guy. Who else? Bruce Brown's a decent defender as well. I mean, but at the end of the day, you gotta put your money where your mouth is. So if Minnesota can keep going and keep playing like this, then yeah, I definitely think they can. I guess it'll kind of be an upset because what was this, the 3-6 matchup?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it an upset because we all know what Minnesota can do, like what they're capable of doing. Like they got to the conference finals, 2 years ago? So yeah, I don't see it as an upset, but I think it can happen.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Alan Thomas in the chat. I know he had said that he's been wanting to join one of these live, so I appreciate him joining in the midst of playoff basketball being on the TV. And he's pretty. I mean, not pretty much. He is an NBA Threads day one OG. So always showing love, always showing up. So just appreciate you for hopping in such a on a night where you had plenty of other options on how to spend your time.
Yeah, much appreciated for sure. Rush, based off of that game that we just saw, game two, right? What adjustments do you think the Nuggets need to make to actually turn it around, win the series, with it being tied 1-1? We know game three is going to be a pivotal game for the rest of that series.
I think they just need to get a little bit more, maybe from Aaron Gordon. I know he started off pretty hot. He had the little bounce oop to himself. I think if he can get a little bit, they can get a little bit more offensively from him, and then just more from their bench. But I think a lot of what this series looks like going forward depends on Anthony Edwards' health. Like, he was able to gut through last night, dropped 30 points, 10 to 25 shooting. But was was able to sort of get them back in the game and did what he needed to do as the 1A guy on that team. But it's not something that's going to go away within the next however many games are left in the series. So how he's able to manage that, how he's able to play through it, how he's able to sort of pick his spots on offense, I think it's going to be really important because if he goes down or even if he leaves the game for any stretch of time, we've seen how Denver can just go on runs, how Murray can get hot, how Jokic can sort of swing games. So that's the one thing that I'm sort of keeping an eye on. But I think Denver's okay, right? Like we don't overreact to game ones, right? But you shouldn't necessarily overreact to a game two just because the home team lost. I think this is going to be a 7-game series either way. So I think Denver is going to make some adjustments as all teams do in the playoffs, and I think we're going to be in for a really exciting, competitive game 3. And as a basketball fan, I'm like a pig in slop. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving this series. I love competitive basketball. I love when series are close. So I think it's been that way for the most part so far, and especially in this series, and I think that's going to continue.
And
hey,
I
Tom,
wanted,
real quick, can I say something? So another series that I'm really enjoying as well is the Spurs and the Blazers series. I'm actually enjoying this run by the Blazers because of like where the controversy in the offseason with Chauncey and we probably most people outside of Blazers fans probably thought that this season was just going to be another like lottery season. And we've seen Denny Avdia break out, become an all-star, a most improved candidate, put it to the Suns in the play-in. And despite, them losing game 1 to San Antonio, Denny had a really great game in his playoff debut. So I just want to give a shout out to Denny because he's been hooping this year. Honestly, one of my favorite players to watch this season. If the kid Alexander Walker didn't have the season that he's having, I would think he's a lock for most improved. And, Wizards fans, I know you guys are probably upset about the trade and how Denny kind of, became into this star, but sometimes situations don't work out the way they do. Sometimes a change of scenery is good for a player. So we can't hold the Wizards organization for Denny becoming this good of a player. I mean, Denny progressively was getting better, but the confidence wasn't there with his game. The consistency wasn't there. And sometimes you get put in different situations where you fit better or your teammates are empowering you or your coaching staff, whatever it is. But obviously the situation in Washington wasn't ideal for his skill set. He went to Portland and now he's thriving. So I'm happy for him. A lot of Wizards fans might not be rooting for him at this point, but it wasn't his fault that he got traded, But me, I'm rooting for him. So, and they may not beat San Antonio, but it's been a nice run this season.
I think the thing with
Denny's what do they call him? A foul merchant and waiting. He's a rising foul merchant, I believe, according to Chatter Online.
I'm not calling him a foul merchant, but
no, I know. Free throw merchant, right? Isn't that the phrase? Free throw merchant.
Yeah. But he's been. I mean, he gets to the line a lot, but he is very aggressive. That's another thing. Like they call him downhill Denny. So.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many basketball fans or people who watch basketball don't realize that, especially in the playoffs, usually with the team that's more aggressive, they tend to set the tone and they tend to be given the benefit of the doubt and rewarded if they're more aggressive because you put the onus on the referee and you make them determine how they're going to call the game. And, like you said, downhill Denny, he does a really good job of that. So I don't think he's getting preferential treatment. I think he's just not that he's the only one who plays aggressively in the league, but I think that when you do that and you do that consistently, you put the referees in a pickle and you make them decide how they're going to call the game. So it's all part of the game. I got into a little bit of a back and forth about free throw and foul merchants the other day. Might have been yesterday. I don't know. My days run together, so that's why it was top of mind for me.
Hey, Jarrett, right? Your series, your Knicks. It's tied 1-1. Some people they blame Mike Brown for that. Some people blame Mikal Bridges. He hesitated. Was he going to the rim? Was he going to shoot? And we know a thing that's been the entire season. People have been begging Mikal to go to the rim more. He did not. Shots missed. What adjustments do you think your Knicks need to make, if any, going into this game 3? Now that the series is tied 1-1.
First of all, can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me good still? Okay, cool. I just had to take off my mic. I think the adjustment that they need to do, you gotta get Cat the ball more. Like, I mean, I've been saying this all year. Let him be at the high post playmaking, kind of like what they did game 1. It worked. And then, kind of like in the third quarter, he started to get going. So I felt like that's the formula that they need to do. Like, you have Cat touch the ball, you have him engaged in the offense, being kind of like the playmaker, which they need because, to be honest with you, Brunson does go pecan sometimes. Like, he'll go shot hunting for stretches. And sometimes the players may get out of rhythm, and when they get the ball, they don't know what to do. So I do feel like that's one adjustment. I do feel like it's been times that Mike Brown's been not having at least one of them on the floor, and that kind of messes up the momentum of the game. Like at some point in the third quarter, he had both of them out the game, and the Knicks were still playing fairly well, but that's when Atlanta started making their run. So it's like you gotta have at least one of them on the floor. You can't have both of them off the floor because you don't have another player who can generate offense besides Brunson and Cat. So one of them has to be on the floor at the same time, even if it means Brunson and Alvarado playing together, like whatever the case may be. But I think that's like the two biggest adjustments for the Knicks. And honestly, yeah, I don't want to put the knock on Mike Brown, but that is a coaching thing. That you have to kind of make the adjustments to when you're up. All right, what can we do to stay up and not get this team back in the game? Or even if you be honest with you, they need to go big at some point with put Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns in together because you got all these wings on Atlanta and they're using their size to kind of overpower the Knicks. So you have to kind of go big at a certain point. Like maybe for a game you gotta probably start Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns together, have Josh Hart come off the bench, or maybe Mikal Bridges come off the bench. Something has to give.
Hey, I have two thoughts on that. One, did y'all see Kuminga smack that Brunson shot late in the game when he tried to drive baseline for that layup? I
didn't see that.
I was watching the condensed playback on YouTube this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dang, he had to smack that thing. Like, I mean, he smacked it like he owed him money or something.
No, they call me no boy.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like they should adjust the starting lineup because I feel like that gives panic, and you don't really want to give that at 1-1. But I do think that he could definitely manage those rotations later in the game, like you said. One of Cat or Brunson should always be on the floor, I think, especially in the playoffs where your rotation is going to be short and guys are going to be playing extended minutes anyway. So, but Mike Brown's savvy enough. I think he'll they'll look at the film, see where they had some opportunities, and I think he'll have them ready to come out in game 3 down in Magic City.
Hey, one of the adjustments that was made on the Atlanta Hawks side, they played Kuminga more and Dyson Daniels was on the bench because offensive liability. Do you think, one, Rush, that they continue this? And what have you seen so far? Again, only 2 games in, but this is first playoff taste for him of Jalen Johnson so far. Like, he hasn't looked like the Jalen Johnson that we've seen in the regular season. Do you see possibly, if he gets it going with the way CJ is playing, Knicks might be in some type of trouble?
Well, the best thing for a young player who may not be playing as well in the playoffs, the best remedy for them is to go home. So the Hawks are back home in Game 3. They'll be feeding off the crowd, they'll be feeding off the energy. We all know role players play better at home, and I think he'll he'll sort of settle. I think it'll be a big boost to him. But he's got to figure it out. The playoffs are a different beast, and for a guy who's getting his first taste of it, I don't think it's unreasonable that he would struggle a bit. But he did hit a couple of big shots during that run last night as the Hawks kind of got back into the game and then retook the lead. So yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think we'll start to see more of the Jalen Johnson we saw during the regular season and have seen all year long. I don't have any real concern about that. But Dyson Daniels, man, like, whew, it's rough. Somebody on the timeline said he's with us as a Knicks fan because, man, it's rough. I mean, he's a talent, right? I don't know what it is. If it's a confidence thing, obviously he's not. I don't know that he's ever been like a great shooter, but it's a struggle right now. So hopefully he can figure it out because I think he can give them a lot. But if you're getting better production from somebody off the bench, then yeah, you gotta make that move.
Yeah, Kuminga, and the time that he came in, even though I feel he's the same player that he is with the Golden State Warriors, I haven't seen much of a difference, especially when you look at the stats.
But what's wrong with that? I mean, that's okay, right? I feel like everybody's making it a point to say that his numbers didn't jump through the roof. But what if that's what's needed for this team to be at their best?
I think that's great.
I don't know. Yeah,
I think that's great.
It's just interesting. Like everybody wants to point out, oh, he's still averaging 13 points and shooting whatever from 3. But he's making big plays too. Like we said, smacked Jalen Brunson's shot at the end of the game. Led to a fast break and led to a bucket. So
I think it's more so from what we heard going on throughout that trade of, I want a bigger role. I can do X, Y, Z more.
Yeah. What if it's just like a confidence thing, right? Like we all played, right? What if it's just when your coach has confidence in you, when your coach is going to let you play through, a 0 for 4 stretch during the game or play through a turnover without getting yanked. What if it's just that? I mean, I think, yes, he ultimately is going to want a bigger role, and I think that's going to come into play this offseason because I think he's got a team option. So Atlanta's going to have to make a decision. But I think it was more relationship with Kerr. I think that was like the crux of what their issue was more so than anything else. Would be my opinion. But I'm just a Lakers fan, so maybe the delusional Warriors fan in the chat can give us some insight. I don't know.
Yeah, Doc said Kuminga getting $75 million a year this offseason, guaranteed.
Brooklyn Nets about to overpay for Kuminga.
I hope for their sake that they do not do that, especially.
I don't have any insight. I'm just saying. I know they're one of the teams with cap space. That would be funny though.
Especially being that if the draft lottery goes how it should go and they get a top 3, top 5 pick, please do not go get Kuminga. Get one of these top picks and just build the team young. Don't add Kuminga to the mix with Michael Porter Jr. too. That's not somebody not gonna be happy there. It's not gonna go well.
Porter ain't gonna be there long. I don't think. I don't know who's gonna take his $40 million a year, but I don't know that he's necessarily in Brooklyn's long-term plans. But that's just
I don't think so either. But you're gonna start off at least 10, 15 games with a lineup with Michael Porter Jr. and Kuminga in it.
That's gonna be tragic.
They already came out. Nets already came out said that the plan is they're trying to be competitive in the next 2 years. You put that on the floor, I don't know how much competing you really gonna be.
I don't know how much competing they're gonna do with that roster in 2 years.
They got some pieces.
Knicks fans, bro, don't never want to give no love to the little brother.
Listen, none of that. Nobody on that Nets team is gonna make an all-rookie team.
I mean, probably not, but I mean they got some pieces.
Hey, Igor
I like I
came
like Igor.
on.
I
Yeah,
like
he came
Igor.
on second half of the season.
Mhm.
If he played that way the entire season, he would have made
Mhm.
one of those teams, but it was a little too late. But you talking about competing. Cavs Raptors. Cavs are
Mm.
up 2-0. Raptors actually, if you pay attention, not just to they're down 0-2. They pretty much won about 7, 8 of the statistical categories in game two, but they still lost in big reason because Brandon Ingram could not make anything. Do you see though, with them now being down 0-2, Jarrett, are we looking at one of the first sweeps happening with the Cavs Raptors series?
Before the series started, I did a bracket on NBA.com that I put the Raptors winning it in I think 6 or 7. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I just can't bet on the Cavs no more, man. They are always a big disappointment year after year. Um, but I mean, maybe they can pull this series out. Evan Mobley's been playing really well. I think that's been kind of like the difference for Cleveland. Just having Evan Mobley be more engaged on offense and both ends, honestly. So it could be a sweep. I mean, no knock on Ingram and Scotty Barnes, but they're not Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. They're not that star power that can, elevate a team to basically get to like, a conference final or second round, whatever the case may be. Because we know, but like Harden has had some really bad playoff games, but he has some great playoff games as well. And Donovan Mitchell, like I always said, to me, Donovan Mitchell is one of the top playoff performers in the league. Even though a lot of people don't agree with that because of the team success, but he rises to the occasion to me all the time. So I do think that Cleveland will. Who would they face next round? Who's the next matchup?
It's the 4-5, so they would get
Detroit basketball.
Detroit. Okay,
or
so
or
or
Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah, I mean, they beat Orlando last year, so Detroit.
Ooh, we got Cavs in 5 in the chat.
Cavs in 5. Okay.
I can see a world where it's Cavs in 5.
I can see a
To be
World
honest
Cup
with you.
stuff too. Yeah. Now that they able to get there and face Orlando or Detroit, then that's a different scenario. I don't know about that series, to be honest with you.
Do we think? Let's take a poll. Like, do we think that Orlando has that real shot to beat Detroit in the first round?
Funny
What do you think?
enough,
What do you
Yeah.
think, Antonio?
funny enough, I think they actually have a shot because they both actually similarly play the same style of aggressive defense. And weirdly and oddly enough, Orlando is starting to hit and play some of their best basketball now. We all wrote them. Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't, but most of the world wrote them off after that first playing game. Like, pack them up. Charlotte's going into the playoffs. Paolo's going to request a trade. Mosley's job going to be on the line. Now they talking about Mosley's job might be safe. Mosley's job might be safe. And if you get Paolo and Franz playing this way, there's a world that they could beat Detroit. They I don't think the Magic are that prototypical eighth seed team. They dealt with a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah. Well,
They
Agreed.
could put it
Every-
together.
every year.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the Paolo stuff is overdone. He's gotten a lot of hate, and I don't really understand it.
Thank you.
He's like 23, 24. People are already calling him like, oh, he's trash and he never shows up. And he averages like 29 points per game, 28 points per game in the playoffs.
Mhm.
And he himself has dealt with a lot of injuries. So I don't get the Paolo stuff, but yeah, he specifically looked good. It didn't wasn't really forcing things. It seemed like he was playing within whatever offense, whatever game plan they had. And then when it was his number and it was time for him to either make a play or he saw an opportunity, he did so with efficiency. So I think that's sort of the key for him. He can, to be fair, kind of go into Chuck mode. But I think when he trusts more and his teammates are hitting shots and making plays and they're getting turnovers and getting out, this team absolutely can be scary. And I agree, they're not your typical eighth seed. So look, Atlanta, New York is my series because it was one I call that upset because I want to see Jarrett in shambles. But I also think that everything we said leading up to the playoffs, when we were talking about did Detroit need to make a move? Did they need to get another engine type player to sort of support Cade? That could be rearing its head in this series when you got a team that's going to get up into you like Orlando does, especially at the guard position. So it's going to be interesting. Going back to it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting series for sure. I like this one. I hope it goes 7. I hope they all go 7.
I agree with Aaron real quick. He says that he didn't get the Paulo stuff specifically because the Magic really locked into their team before they seen proof of concept. Real tough to pivot if it does not work. That Magic team is expensive.
I just started a 2K because I'm on the couch all day. I just started a 2K franchise with Orlando. Like everybody's making like $30 million a year. And Anthony Black's up for an extension, I think, after next summer. He's up for his rookie extension. Like, they are expensive. That is crazy. And they sent 4 first-round picks for Bane?
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't work out, right? You got no picks. You gotta go get some. And is anybody gonna be taking $40 million of whatever you're trying to ship out? Like, yeah. So it absolutely has to work out. Good call.
I was about to say
Aaron. I didn't realize Aaron was in here. But shout out to my guy, Aaron.
Yeah, they definitely need it to work.
Aaron's been noticeably quiet on the Lakers front since Luka hasn't been playing. It's amazing how that circumstances have just happened. I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Perfect transition. Lakers Rockets. Lakers are up 1-0. They play later tonight. We'll make sure that we are off
excuse me, they're decisively up 1-0. Should you say?
Yes, sir.
Don't undersell it. Decisive 1-0.
We appreciate that. He said he won't kick us while we down. We appreciate that. Rush. It's only one game. Decisive win. 1-0. Yeah. Bron was in his Magic Johnson era. Beautiful basketball, picking his spots. Started off the first quarter with 8 assists, 13 for the night. Can the Lakers, without Luka, because reports came out today, he won't be here for first round, but Austin has already started. Austin has already started some 1-on-1, 2-on-2 on-court activity. But currently, if Austin comes back, if he doesn't come back, do you think the Lakers are going to actually pull this series out and head to that second round?
First of all, before I answer your question, Antonio, I just want to address the fake doctor in the chat talking about Dalton Connect. Doc, why don't you go clip Steph Curry's Instagram feed at Coachella? All right, because that's where your squad is at. Don't be coming in here trying to make fun of my Lakers. Okay, go clip that. I'm just playing. That's my guy. I love you, Doc. It's tough, right? Like, it depends on what Kate. I mean, look, Houston had more shots than LA in game 1. They out-rebounded them. They turned LA over more than LA turned them over. And yet, I don't know that anyone who watched the game was ever really concerned that Houston, was gonna pull away with it or win that game. So some of it was LA. LA got off to a really hot start. They were hitting everything. Luke Kennard was sort of unlocked and went off, obviously. So a lot of things went right for the Lakers. Where I get worried is if they get into like even more of just like a muck it up game than what game 1 sort of turned into midway. where the Lakers aren't hitting anything. Houston may not be hitting anything, but we all know how that defense is in the half court. So if LA can keep the turnovers to a minimum, if they can get a better balance between, in terms of like, if they can stay relatively close to Houston in terms of like shots taken, I think they can win. I do think it's going to be a long series no matter what, but a lot of it has to do with Kevin Durant. If he's able to come back and beat Kevin Durant, then I think it's back to being an uphill battle. But if he can't play like tonight, or if he comes back but he's not, he's only like 40% of KD, I think LA still remains a slight favorite. But I don't think anything about this series is going to be easy for LA. I mean, it is a 4-5 after all. So,
just by the way, my sources have told me that KD will be playing tonight. So we will see KD tonight. At what level? We don't know.
Sources?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that afterwards. KD will be playing tonight.
Or did Shams post something?
Let's just say I saw something before Shams posted something, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, Antonio. Find out my boy got some sources.
Trust, once we talk about it afterwards, I ain't really got that much juice.
Okay, you got enough.
Got something.
You got a little squeeze.
No sprinkle.
Hey, so Jarrett, right? Doc, Dino, we all talking in the chat, talking about Toner's the burner.
What was that? What's Katie's burn? What's the alleged Katie burner name? What's it called? What's the name of it? I forgot it too.
Something with.
I can't. Somebody in the chat knows it.
It was a perfect one though. It was
hilarious, bro.
It was a perfect name.
I've never laughed so hard at screenshots in my life, whether it's Kevin Durant or not. Like I got no dog in the fight, but
hey, he ain't tweeted since then.
He hasn't tweeted since the All-Star game.
Get off my Dickerson.
Get off my Dickerson. That's it. Yeah, that's perfect. My favorite one was when he posted the Michael Irvin meme when he said he tried to hold Steph accountable. He said it, and everybody looked at him like, "Oh my god!"
Someone in the chat said, "Get higher 77."
I saw
that two.
There's two. Yeah.
Okay.
The one that messed up the Rockets locker room was to get off my Dickerson. That was the one where he was using the R word for some of his teammates, which was not not okay. But
it's not acceptable.
Even with all of the get off my Dickerson, they are still heavily reliant. That offense is heavily reliant on Kevin Durant. We already knew coming into the season, no Van Vliet. You could tell they miss Van Vliet. Maybe they need a couple more pieces. We've heard the conversations of like, hey, maybe they should have kept Jalen Green because you would have had another scoring option. For you, Jarrett, from what you've watched heading into the playoffs and after that first game, do you think that they are too reliant offensively on Kevin Durant, and even if they get out this series, that's still going to bite them at some point, whether it's this series or the next?
Yeah, they're very reliant on KD for the offense, but you basically don't have no other option because Amin Thompson, I've been saying since this year started, he's not a point guard. They're trying to run him at the point, but he's definitely not a point guard, especially since he can't shoot the ball. That's really one thing. I feel like for him, he's better as kind of like an Aaron Gordon type of role, like being a dunker spot, secondary ball handler, could kind of play him off pick and rolls, things like that, like things where he can really highlight his athleticism. And then, yeah, exactly, Doc, like an Andre Iguodala type of connective passer. So, but it had to be a Warriors reference. But I do think Reed is good. Reed's been playing really well, honestly, but he's kind of a liability on defense as well because of his size.
Sold my parlay. You sold my parlay the other night.
But yeah, so Fred.
That's a Corner 3 exclusive. I won't talk about that on the timeline. You know how Threads is when you mention gambling. They don't come for me.
But I mean, Fred is good, but he's small as well, so he'll be a liability on defense as well. But he's definitely a better option than Reed. I do think that with Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks still on the roster, I think it would have been a little bit better. Not knocking KD because AD is an all-world talent, but the balance of the team would be better because we see what Dylan Brooks is doing this year. Who knows if that would be the case if he was still in Houston with his scoring taking a leap. But we seen what Jalen Green was doing, in these playoff games. And still, like Jalen Green, he can create offense in spurts as well. I would think, with the situation of if it was Amin, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, I guess Jabari Smith would still be starting in Sengun. I feel like it would be better. I feel like they would have more of a chance, like I just said, because of the balance of it. You don't rely too much on KD to basically have to create the whole team's offense. Because same thing we talked about Anthony Edwards. KD is not a player who should be the primary ball handler. He should be someone who's come off a pin downs, come off a screen, spotting up, basically playing off the ball. Because even though KD is good with the ball, his efficiency is great without the ball. Playing, going back to Doc's team, how he was playing with the Warriors, basically how great that system was because they predicate on ball movement. So they need to go all season hunting for a point guard. Same thing with Minnesota. They're both in the market for the same thing. If Houston and Minnesota end up losing in the first round, whatever the case may be.
Hey, shout out to Chase. I'm tapped. I'm locked in with you too, man. The Blazers is up 25-20 right now. Scoot is off to a crazy start. 13 points, 4 for 4 from the field. They off to a nice little start, but
Are they playing again? Didn't they just play last night?
No, it was like 2 days ago.
Stephon Castle just hit a 3 in the corner, so now they down 2. But
what happened with Grant? They got dealt with.
Oh, he tried to score, and they went. Wemby wasn't having it.
Defensive player of the year, man.
Defensive player of the year, the first ever unanimous defensive player of the year, the youngest, I believe they said, to win DPOY. Yep. Did the NBA voters get it right? And honestly, if he is healthy, is this just his award going forward?
Is it? I mean, is it even a question that they should be unanimous? To be honest with you,
this is what we're gonna do. we're gonna talk about this. Did they get it right? Come on, man. If we were on timeline, I'd quote you and accuse you of engagement bait. Bad faith engagement bait at that. Did they get it right? Who else was it? It was Asor and what? Chet?
Yeah.
Come on, son. No, this what as Stephen A. Smith said when he called Kwame Brown trash. No disrespect whatsoever, but those guys don't compare to. They're stout in their own right, but compared to Wemby, it's no comp. They absolutely got it right. But I do think not comparing Wemby to Dwight, but I do remember similar conversations when Dwight was at his peak. It was like, oh, this is Dwight Howard's award to win for eons to come, and it didn't happen. I'm not going to say pumped.
He got 4 of them, right?
He got 4, but he played a long time.
Yeah, he did.
And 4 is amazing. So I'm not going to say pump the brakes on anything, but I mean, we have seen that in this league, certain things look like a sure thing for years to come. And one thing we tend to see in this league is just things change quickly. You never know what could happen, who could come along, who could start playing really well. So I do think, he stays healthy. I think for definitely the next handful of years, I don't see anybody knocking him off. But it's a very, very exciting time to be an NBA fan as this next generation is sort of taking over as, KD, Bron, and Steph are sort of phasing out.
Do you think that Wemby will get MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, kind of how Giannis did?
Do I think like this year or just in general?
Not this year, like in general.
Oh yeah, I think I'm not that big of a betting guy, but I think that it's a high odds that he gets at least one of those one season with both of them. I'd feel if you said he'd probably get multiple, I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree with Chase though. Like I did think that because we've seen this before with voters. Some of these voters are some of the worst people in the world. Each voter has their own criteria and what they want to do when it comes to voting. Yes. Like he said, though, you think there would be one holdout, but I guess, Wemby's just undeniable because we've seen it before where it's like times where, hey, this person should have been unanimous. It didn't happen. So he was unanimous. So I thought somebody would have just, for the heck of it. We've seen it before.
Wemby is inevitable, like Thanos. Yeah. And Giannis did MVP in DPOY same year.
With that being the case, right, though, if it's not Wemby, if we be honest, if it's not going to be Wemby, if it's a year that he's not healthy, he doesn't reach the 65 game minimum, if they still have that rule in place, it's going to be a Chet. It's going to be a Gobert. It's going to be a big. Do you think because for the foreseeable future, it being a big, heavy award, do you think that the NBA at some point implements a perimeter award, Jarrett, for people like, for example, OG and Anunoby? If they had a perimeter award, he'd be one of the finalists for that one for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the person we would have to look at is the finalist right now, Sor Thompson. I don't know. Because I know that's kind of like the NFL style where they have like different, I guess, like different side awards, things like that. I don't know if I'm big on that. I mean, because usually how I look at it, the MVP is kind of like the best offensive player award in a way, like depending on the narrative of the season. And defensive player of the year, I always kind of look at it as like, the MVP on the defensive side, which technically it is. I don't know if we should break it down to like, I don't want to say it's diminishing what the league is. Like we're putting like kind of like washing it or something. But I don't think we should break it down to like, we have a perimeter defender, we have a inside defender, because it's kind of like if you are the best defender in the league, you should be able to guard both perimeter and the inside. And I know that's kind of been the knock on Rudy Gobert for these last few years because he always gets cooked when he's on, for pick and rolls and trying to guard like Steph Curry, things like that. I don't think they should do it, to be honest with you. I don't like the idea of it. And who knows, maybe I could change my mind later on. Maybe if they actually decide to do it and like how it's like laid out and how we kind of put the criteria for it. Maybe I'm like, oh yeah, maybe this is a good idea. But right now, looking at it in hindsight, no, I don't like the idea.
Rush, are you here for an Offensive Player of the Year award, as Chase is asking? Luka would have got it this year if they had that.
Too soon.
Hold on. Before you answer that question, if hold on. So like, would he actually be able to qualify for it? Because I'm confused on. He didn't qualify for the MVP awards for the 65 games.
He qualified.
He got an exception for when he went to see his He went to see
Bertha
his
Shaw
birthday.
and
Birthday was daughter.
Latvia.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Okay, gotcha.
Anthony Edwards didn't get the exception.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. But my bad, Rush.
No, you're good. And that's because Ant decided to go through an arbitrator, whereas Cade and Luka went through. They petitioned to the NBA and the NBA PA, which is interesting. That not interesting, but it's just just interesting that he chose to go that route as opposed to petitioning like the other guys did. When I do an offensive player of the year, I guess I don't know that it would hurt. It'd be just another award for us to argue about. But when you talk about it being something that factors into like guys being able to get paid more, I'd be for it. You went offensive player of the year, you're eligible for this tier max or this contract kicker or whatever, then yeah, I'd be down for it. Anything to get the players paid more. I'm pro player when it comes to money. It's not mine, but I'd like to see them be taken care of. But I don't know that they would. But I never thought that they'd add 2 tournaments to the season either. So I could see a world where it happens.
Doc, we're not doing this. We're not doing this, Doc.
Yeah, please don't get them started again. I still have nightmares about the first time we argued about Cam Thomas. Y'all argued about Cam Thomas. Correct.
He's not in the league right now, so we're not gonna stick with him.
Hey, I think he's exactly where he should be.
Damn.
Wednesday, the 6-man Enos Freedom. 6-man will be announced. The finalists are Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Keldon Johnson. Jarrett and Rush, who do you think wins it? And if you thought of any snubs, please share with us. But who do you think from those finalists actually wins 6-man?
I'm actually really surprised that Tim Hardaway's in it. To be honest with you, I didn't realize he was in the running for it. To be honest, but I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I would say Keldon Johnson. Because he's been a really big impact for the Spurs on what was their 63-win season. So, and he's been really solid on both ends, scoring wise, rebounding, defense. So I feel like he would be the one that would get it. Jaime was on a nice stretch early in the season, but about what Aaron just said, like they lost in the play-in, so I'm not big on to me Jaime had a good first half of the season as a 6-man, but it kind of like tickered off a little bit as the season went on, and then Miami. Granted, injuries played a factor as well, but Miami, I don't know. I'm not big on giving awards to teams that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm also not a really big fan of players losing awards because of one game at the end of the year. I don't know. It seems unfair. I also don't really care about this particular category. So I would just say Keldon Johnson. Tony, you muted.
I'm not going to say there's any snubs because everybody worked hard this season to be there and the voters, voted for them to be finalists. I'll just mention some names that deserve a little love. We give flowers on this show here. Anthony Black had a really good season coming off the bench for the Orlando Magic. I think we'll see next year if everything goes correctly in his offseason and whatnot, we could see Anthony Black being in that conversation for MIP. Based off of how he played this year and he showed flashes. If he could put it all together, that's an MIP candidate right there. And that unlocks something completely different for the Magic as well, which we talked about earlier. They are expensive. So they need Anthony Black to take that leap over this summer. Reed Shepherd, we talked about him earlier. Reed Shepherd been a very big bright spot for the Houston Rockets, for a team that lacks offense. And then AJ Mitchell. I think AJ Mitchell would have got some more love if he didn't get injured. AJ Mitchell huge for OKC this year.
Knicks legend.
Friday, they announced most improved. The finalists are Nickeil Alexander Walker, Denny Avdia, and Jalen Duren. I think we all are in agreement that Nah is the winner for this award.
I mean,
I'm a big Nah fan, but
I like Nah.
Yeah, because there's something to the fact that he was a late first, or was he second round pick?
I think he was early second round.
Yeah, I think it was second round.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat, check that for me if you guys don't mind. But I think there's something to say that you got a late first, early to middle second round guy who's in there with 2 lottery picks. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a big subscriber to the idea that a guy who's a lottery pick can't win most improved player. Mm-hmm. I think you got to take it on a case by case basis. But in this particular case, I would say Nickeil stands out compared to the other 2 finalists just because of how much farther he's sort of had to come. He's not a guy who was starting right away or playing heavy rotation minutes right away. He sort of had to work his way up. And just the leap. I mean, what is it, like 9 points? 9 points per game, I think he's made. Yep. Increase over last year.
Well, he averaged 9.8 last year.
That's right. It's 11 point, right?
Yes, 11-point increase.
Yeah. I keep getting stuck on the 9, thinking that it was a 9-point increase, not his points per game average. But yeah, so that's pretty significant to me. You don't only look at offense, but I think that weighs heavily when you're assessing him compared to the other 2.
Hey Chase, I did not hear that about the Blazers owner having them clock out early so they avoided fees on game day.
I'll talk to you about that. Hold on. I've been reading about this. So supposedly the owner, because you know how teams give away T-shirts on the playoffs in the seats and everything to rep the team, kind of like what San Antonio did with the different color schemes.
Yeah,
Portland's not doing it at all for Game 3, Game 4. They're having players check out of the hotels early. They are having they're not having any 2-way players on the main roster during the playoffs. It was another thing that happened. Something about some of the staff members are not getting like rooms or something. I forgot what that one was, but basically the Portland owner is being cheap, like super cheap with the team. You would
billionaire being cheap,
huh?
Is that a billionaire being cheap? Oh wow,
it's crazy. Like, wow. I'm like,
never heard of that before.
But you would think, I think what it comes down to was that they didn't think that they was going to make the playoffs. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, I think that they was like, oh, like this is kind of like out of our budget. We didn't think we were going to get this far this season. We didn't anticipate this, so we don't want to pay for this. So I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
But also not really surprising at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Rookie of the year. It has not been announced when they're going to announce it, but obviously it'll probably be next week because it wasn't a part of the scheduled announcements for this week. Rookie of the year, VJ Ekholm, Cooper Flagg, and Con Knipple are the finalists. Who comes to mind to win that award? And before y'all answer, again, showing some love, some flowers. Most improved, Keontae George really balled out this season. Utah got something special with him. Ryan Rollins. Once Giannis leaves, you still have something nice and special there in Milwaukee with Ryan Rollins. And then over in Phoenix, Colin Gillespie, really, really good. How he played for Phoenix this year, coming off the bench. Another Nova guy. They did not expect that to happen, but he was one of the bright spots for Phoenix, especially that beginning when they started off with a nice, a better start. It was because of him, especially with Jalen Green being out with the injuries at the beginning of the season. Colin Gillespie was a big piece for them, a vital piece, and helped in that point guard role. And when he was on the court, I think it was like a plus 16 with him and Devin Booker. So shout out to Colin. He was really good in his playing time. Rookie of the year. Exciting whites for rookie of the year, said Doc.
But Duke Blue Devils, man, I'm happy that they both are in the rookie of the year race. But I think Cooper's going to get it. I know a lot of people are are calling Con Kanipu con artists because of his playing his playing performances. It's a crazy nickname, to be honest with you, but I feel like Con had a really good year. Like he broke the NBA record for threes for a rookie. So I mean, if Con gets it, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. You know, based on he helped his team get to the play-in. They didn't get to the playoffs. They got to the play-in. He broke a record as well. I mean, Cooper broke a few records as well for youngest player to score. Was it 40 or something like that? So, I mean, it's a toss-up. I don't think VJ is gonna be able to get over any of those two, but shout out to him. He had a really good year as well. Definitely helped the Sixers get to the playoffs. So it's gonna be interesting, but I got Cooper winning it. Oh, and set the record for threes in the Hornet season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cooper will win the award. But I think I like that Khan contributed to the Hornets turning their season around. I like that he was a big part of that as a rookie. And then you talk about the various 3-point records that he set. I would probably say Khan should win. I think I would say that, but I think Cooper is going to win it.
Some other rookies
that's not to discredit the year Cooper had, because he's done some things too.
Some other rookies that played well this year. You got to show some love to Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears over there in New Orleans before Zion really got back and they figured out, DeAndre Jordan and stuff like that. When they were getting heavy minutes, they definitely were doing their thing. They'll be on one of the rookie teams for sure. And then obviously, Cedric Coward, one of those bright spots in Memphis, even though Bron and others say they hate going to Memphis. That's a bright spot over there. If you in Memphis to see Cedric ball over there. MVP, that we'll go with that one. MVP, SGA, Jokic, Wembanyama are the finalists. That one, people feel there has been some snubs. There's been some names that should have been finalists. Rush, where do you stand with the finalists for MVP, and who do you think wins it?
I'm fine with the finalists. That's kind of what I thought it would be. I think the writing was on the wall that it would be those three, probably the last month or so of the season at least. And it's just a really competitive field, I think, at this point. When you look at what Jokic is doing, even though, Denver ended up being the 6th seed, just look at his numbers, his advanced numbers. If you pray at that altar of advanced statistics, Jokic is, he's your North Star. SGA is you. I mean, what is he shooting? I think I heard Dorsberg say during the game he's at like 55% shooting on the season.
Yeah, I think he's like 55. And he's like at probably 38% from three, something like that.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. Like I'm just in awe, and it doesn't really look like he's working that hard either. Like it just doesn't, and he's just great. So then you've got Wemby, who's we all obviously talk about Wemby and know what he's done, especially on the defensive end. But he had a really strong close to the season as well, offensively. So I think Shea wins it. So I think he's going to 2-peat. I do think that it'll be close. I think it'll be as close as it's been in a while. Like I know last year we thought it was going to be really tight, and it didn't really end up being all that close. But I think this one will be pretty close. And Luka and Cade both had admirable seasons. I'm obviously a Lakers fan, so I've seen every Luka game this year. He finished the year on a tear, no pun intended. But I just think the other three have a better case. I don't think it's a big gulf, to be honest. I think if you look at it, he's obviously probably like 4 or 5, fourth or fifth place, excuse me. But I just think the other three other guys just have stronger cases.
I think, kind of, I'm going to go with what you said for Rookie of the Year. I think SGA should win out of this group, but I feel Wemby is going to win it. I feel they're going to give it to Wemby. Based off what I've seen from some of the people that have votes, they've already released, oh, this is my ballot, and they're all saying they're all saying Wemby, Bill Simmons, Wemby. I gotta give it.
Kevin no change.
So if Wemby gets it, he'll be the youngest MVP ever.
I think Shea gets one more before they start railroading him. I think he'll get 2, and then.
I agree, Chase. I agree. Bill Simmons should no longer have a vote, but I don't know. We don't get a say in this.
You don't want the Podfather to have a vote?
Yeah,
he got a vote on like podcasting.
No, I think he.
Nah, I think
Bill says some wild stuff, but I think he. I think he deserves his. I think he deserves his vote. Now, changing it at the last minute, I feel like some things you just shouldn't say publicly. That being one of them.
That's where I'm not a fan of it. And not it's bigger conversation more than Bill. It's just like now that it's more. I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat could correct me.
You were alive in the 80s? How old are y'all? I know we do this every so how old are y'all?
I'm 33.
I was born in 90.
Young cats.
Just missed the cut.
Make sure I'm gonna give you the old Unk advice. Make sure y'all stretch.
Oh man,
I don't want to pop anything.
Yo, you're hilarious for that. Final prediction, man. Who did you have going into the finals before the playoffs started? Like who did you have?
I had OKC and the Knicks.
Hold on, what was the question?
I asked Rush who he had going into the finals and if he's changing it.
I guess I still feel good about. I thought it was a sure thing, which is wild because there's no such thing as a sure thing. Preseason. I do think, provided San Antonio stays focused, they could give OKC a run in the Western Conference Finals. The East, I'm shaky on my preseason Knicks pick, and my declaration a few weeks ago, I said I think the Cavs can actually make a run. Which, the way they've been looking and the way Detroit's been looking, I don't know. It's my declaration, my allegiance with Charles Barkley. It was on life support, but we've got motion, we've got movement. The toes are wiggling. So I think it might have legs after all once we get through these next few games. But if I had to put money on it, I think I would probably still go OKC New York. But I'm as shaky as I've been on that pick at this point.
What say you, Jarrett? Who did you have?
I think my pick was the Knicks and the Thunder. I think I'm gonna still stick with that prediction. I do think that San Antonio can definitely get there. Just a matter of who they will face in the conference finals. I do think if there is a world that I think San Antonio could definitely beat OKC in a 7-game series. Like I definitely think that's a possibility. So yeah, I mean, I think my prediction would still be OKC Knicks, or Knicks San Antonio. And I'd rather be honest with you, if I'm the Knicks, I'd rather see OKC than San Antonio.
Why is that?
I feel like they can match up better with the Thunder. I mean, it's no matchup for Wembanyama. So, I mean, unless they're gonna play Mitch extended minutes, even with Mitch, that's still might be barbecue chicken.
Man, they might not even make it out of Magic City. I'm talking about they might match up better with OKC.
Hey, who knows?
Look at least one more game in the Garden. My bad. I forgot they split. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, we'll see, because I think this game is gonna be a wake up call for New York. I think they like, all right, we gotta lock in. Like Atlanta ain't no walk in the park. So walk to Magic City. That's a hard walk.
There were plenty of opportunities for them to win that game. And I think that you never do like moral victories, or you don't try to fake the funk. But I do think there are some things that they can take away, like, hey, we do this, or we make this rotation change. We win that game. So I think they could feel pretty confident going into game 3.
All right, man. The W is back. The W is back. They finally got the CBA deal done. I wouldn't say that the players fully got what they deserved, but they got more than what they were getting. And it's going to continue to go up. So I'm glad that happened for them. And they're happy with the deal, which is what is most important. Free agency was an absolute movie. It was everything that we thought it would be and more. Rush, I want you to start us off, man. Who are some of the winners you feel of free agency? You can start with your Dallas Wings, free agency and draft. You're not looking too bad over there in Dallas.
I actually changed my allegiance. I'm now a I joined the Atlanta Dream bandwagon for obvious reasons. I think the first transaction of free agency, right? I think it was.
Hold on.
Of the offseason. What?
Sorry to cut you off. Wemby just got hurt. Percussion protocol, out for the remainder of the game.
Oh, wow.
He fell fate. So he went to post up Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday, he pulled the chair from him, and Wemby fell face forward on his face in like the slowest way possible for obviously a 7-foot.
It's a long way down.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. You talk about those Atlanta Dreams, and the first transaction was Angel Reese being traded.
Prayers up to Wemby. Yeah, I just like it. I think Angel obviously needed a change of scenery, and I don't know that there's any better place for her to go other than Atlanta for on-court reasons and off the court, right? I think that city has welcomed her with open arms. She was already a star, but she's going to, I think, blossom in that city and in that offense. But also at the same time, I like what Chicago was sort of able to do in terms of turning the page and getting some real big hitters in there. I'm always going to watch a game where Skylar Diggins is playing. You know what I'm saying? And Rakia. So I like what they were able to do, because it was Sky fans were going through it when Angel got traded. Like they were like, oh, here we go again. And then it was like bing, 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 bing. They made consecutive signings. So, yeah, I mean, those are just two teams. I mean, but there's just been so much, like you said, it was a movie, so much movement everywhere. Kennedy going to Las Vegas at toward the end. There's just so much, like I can't even think of it all, and I wasn't prepared, so of course I didn't write anything down. But it's an exciting time, and to echo what you said, Tone, I'm happy that the players are happy with the deal they got. I think we all would agree that they deserve more, and I think eventually they will get exactly what they're owed. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be a fan. It's because this is the kind of activity that really fuels you through like training camp and then into the preseason and then into the regular season. All this excitement. And it helps that it kind of sucks that things sort of got squished due to due to the negotiations. But I think on the flip side, it's really great because you've got boom free agency, boom draft, boom training camp, boom preseason, and then we're playing games. So I love that everything is essentially like right on top of each other because you're just building momentum, you're building excitement, and then before you know it, the ball's going to go up and we're going to be in the season. So I've got my Angel Reese jersey in the mail, so I'm ready for it to get here. But
It's
I still
not
like the Wings, of course.
ain't a far drive either from Charlotte to get down there either. So
Well, I won't be driving anytime soon, but but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I was gonna make the J. Cole reference and how he said he was on the 21
Oh yeah,
Savage track and he drove down there, recorded in the studio, and then got back to his family.
I have done the Atlanta trip in a day. I've done that before. Yeah, it's an easy drive as long as you don't hit traffic. Hit traffic, it's a different story.
All right, Jarrett.
Again,
So we gonna need this. We gonna need this. You are obviously the aficionado for everything Mystics, everything Liberty.
Mhm.
Mystics, obviously, hometown, being where you live. That's not your hometown, but you live down there. You're locked in. You know what's going on with the Mystics. And obviously, SI, you're writing, covering the Liberty. Talk to us about those two teams and their free agencies and the draft, how their offseason looks coming into these training camps now.
I'll start with the Liberty. Signing Satu Sabali was an amazing move. I did. I won't say I predicted it, but like I kind of seen the writing on the wall. I think last season because it felt like she wanted to go play with Serena. Because they play with each other in college. It's kind of unfortunate that um, Nira Sabali got picked in the expansion draft to I think it was Toronto. Um, but yeah, it would have been nice to see all three of them back together. But I don't know what's going. I know the big talk right now with the Liberty is Natasha Cloud. Like, is she going to get re-signed or is she going to get signed in general? Um, I would like to see her back on this team. I do feel like she could be a good fit off the bench if necessary. Because Benaje is coming back off the injury. And she's been a big piece for them. So I would think she will be the starter at, I'm assuming, the 2 guard spot while Sabrina plays the 1. Satsu played the 3. Jonquil played the 4. Well, Brianna plays the 4. Jonquil plays the 5. So Natasha, it could be a spot for her off the bench as the backup point guard. But I'm not in the front office, so I don't know what the discussions are. I do like what they did though. They resigned a good amount of players. I know they trying to get Emma. I don't want to botch her name, but Messerman. I know they're trying to get her back, but I think that's kind of a long shot right now. I think they could get back to the finals with this roster. Will they be able to beat someone like the Aces in the finals? Who knows? We just have to let everything play out. Washington, on the other hand, a lot of fans on Twitter are in threads as well. They are kind of confused on the game plan with Washington as far as with all the youth, and they don't have anybody who's basically over 5-year experience at this point, I think. So, but it's been well known that Washington literally said we are building through the draft, we are building through youth. We're not looking to win right now. And I think the situation with the front office with Jamila Wyman getting fired, I'm only assuming because of free agency, and then it was an opportunity to get swing big for some free agents.
Mm.
Maybe Jamila was thinking we're going to try to swing big now and try to get into win now mode. And Mike Winger, who's the president of Monumental, he probably was like, "No, we're not going to go for that right now. We're still going to look to build to the draft." That's what I'm assuming. Um, and it seems that way because they are still building to the draft. They have all this youth. Their draft was really, in my opinion, was really good. I thought they could have went with a guard earlier in the draft with their ninth pick, but I mean, hey, I mean, they still came away pretty good. They got Rory Hammond from Texas who broke the university record for assists. So I'm happy with what they're doing. To be honest with you, I think that they're going to look at Sonya and Kiki as more of the leaders on this team, and of course Shakira because she's kind of like the elder statesman now at this point. So I do like what they're doing. It's going to be interesting to see how they implement Lauren Betts, Shakira, and Kiki all together because of they're all being bigs, none of them mostly being perimeter threats, but maybe there'll be some stretches when you'll see all three of them on the court together. Don't know how much of that we will see, but I would like to see it. But I said the same thing with Aaliyah Edwards, Kiki, and Shakira, but it never happened. So, but definitely very excited to cover both teams this season.
Rush, looked like while he was talking, you was going to say something. Were you going to talk on the Natasha Cloud situation?
I don't remember.
My bad. I was ranting for a bit.
I think there was some stuff. I noticed her name was being mentioned a lot on threads the other day, but I was also I was having some pain, so I think I had a couple of painkillers. So I'm not exactly sure what all I was seeing and what the reference, what the context was. So I think I was gonna ask about that, but I'm good. I can just go back and look.
All right, we're going to end off with this one, right? Question of the day. For those that watch this, drop your answer in the chat. If you're still on the live, drop your answer in the chat. We'll post this on socials to get y'all thoughts. But I want to ask y'all to end off this episode. Jarrett and Rush. And Rush, you go second. Jarrett, I want you to go first. In the NBA, the logo is Jerry West. Mm-hmm. If you had to choose somebody to be the logo for the WNBA, who would you choose?
That's a very good question. I would say someone like Lisa Leslie. Yeah, I would think Lisa Leslie, because as far as the legacy behind her, she's one of the founding women of the sport, and she's honestly universally loved by everybody, especially in the W. And she always gives praises to the next generation. She's always willing to work with the young talent in the league. Yeah, I would say Lisa Leslie.
So we're just doing all WNBA players of all time, right? Okay, I'm glad I didn't go first because I would have thought it was just only active players. This is actually quite easy because I would agree with Jarrett. I think it's Lisa Leslie.
Aaron shouted out Maya Moore. I think Maya Moore is a great answer as well. A name I throw out there, she didn't get to play in the W. I don't think it was maybe 3 or 4 years after she was done with ball. But Cheryl Miller, if Cheryl Miller was able to play in the W, good Lord.
Good Lord have mercy.
If Cheryl Miller was able to play in the W, my. You sure look good tonight. We would have been saying that every game she played for sure. But y'all know that's a wrap here. We are back. Glad to be back. Hopefully, we'll be back next week for an episode for y'all. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate everybody that hopped in the live. Everybody was talking, coming, hanging out with us, especially during some really good games going on right now. Spurs, Trailblazers tied at halftime, or they down by 3. And the 76ers are up by 2 with 6 minutes left. So y'all that hopped in with us, much love. Y'all know the best 3 is the corner 3. We out. Peace.